Good morning once again. If you just tuned in, you are watching Sunrise at Sea and you are right in time for our views. This morning we will be discussing fully opening of the economy come January. I mean, January is tomorrow. Today we are wrapping up the year and it's a new year. Today is New Year's Eve. So that is our point of discussion this morning. Fully opening the economy. Are we ready? Is it something that we are ready for as Uganda? And joining me in studio are the usual suspects, the ladies, Shivan, Sarah, and Kira. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Are you excited about New Year's Eve?
Yes, we are. We're very excited.
Fireworks, Sarah. We like to party.
There are no fireworks.
This time around?
Yeah. Yes.
But I guess we can make it work. We can do music. Sarah loves music.
I know Sarah can make it work.
Girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Should the president fully open the economy? I mean, he promised. The Minister of Education decided to push the reopening of schools by 2 weeks. Yeah?
Yeah.
But do you think it's something we are ready for as Uganda to fully open the economy?
I think we are. I think to some extent, much hard as it may seem, because truth of the matter is people did lose loved ones. And opening up an economy, obviously a person who lost a loved one would be like, that's not being fair. You're going to spread, more COVID. Yeah. So I think much as it may be a tough one, I think the economy has to be open because it has affected so many livelihoods of people, mostly the education sector, I would say, has actually been affected. Health sector has actually been affected so much. So I think this is something that we've had for 2 years now. Yeah. So him extending the economy or another lockdown.
Opening the economy.
Yeah, opening the economy, I'm sure would definitely make a difference in the country and maybe people go back to how things used to be because this is something that is now part of us. Yeah, we just need to find the solution. What's the way forward? Lockdown is not really going to do much. So I think we need to open the economy.
I think Kira does have a point in a way. And COVID is something that has wreaked havoc even among the G20 countries. But I mean, not many of them have closed. I want to give an example of a country like Sweden. They have been able to somehow combat COVID-19. Well, one may say they have the best way, they have good manpower or they had good health facilities in place. But here's the thing. COVID-19 has become, in a way, it has become part and parcel of us. It's something that we cannot do. It's something that is here to stay clearly. So if we continue to keep our country under lock and key, and at the same time, these are, for example, when it comes to the education sector, I will give an example of the education sector because I feel like it is the most important and it has been highly affected. We are not training the generation of tomorrow. Yet again, these are the people that are still going to come to a round table and compete for a same job position that someone in Sweden studied for because they did not have lockdown. For someone that's for someone in Kenya, they studied for it, and it's I don't think it would be fair because then our children are not studying, the younger people are not studying, they're not getting more skills or getting knowledge. Then we have people that have been out of business for so long. Their sources of livelihood have diminished very fast. So how do you expect such people to be able to live on? I mean, the first lockdown, the government promised food, but for how long can that food sustain a family of, let's say, 6? So regardless of what is happening, I think it is very important that we reopen the economy so that we find a fair ground for everyone. I mean, at the end of the day, survival is for the fittest. So, I mean, yes, we may lose some loved ones, and clearly we have lost loved ones. However, the world has to go on. There are people that have still left behind and they need to find a way to survive. So if you continuously lock down their businesses or these different sectors, then you will have high cases of theft, you'll have high cases of terrorism, you'll have people that are idle, and then what? That will be another epidemic to deal with again. So it's something we need to put into consideration.
Sarah, Penny, for your thoughts.
We are not ready. We are not. No, let's be serious. We are not ready to reopen the economy. However, it's the necessary thing to do.
Yeah.
Because having shut down our economy for this long, it's been 2 years since the pandemic started. It has increased teenage pregnancies, which has increased the child mortality rate.
Yeah.
The death toll due to COVID-19 is on the rise. As of 29th December, the death toll was at 1,300 deaths. You can imagine that. So it is not going anywhere. It's getting worse. The 50 million students in the country who got school-going students have been affected, and 30% will not be able to be going back to school.
Yeah.
You get,
Yeah.
because of teenage pregnancies, their parents have lost jobs, they're not able to afford schools. As private schools are, schools are opening next month. Government said that they should not hike in fees, and yet a number of schools have even tripled their school fees.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are not ready. We are honestly not ready, but opening up the economy is the necessary thing to do. There are other sectors that have struggled and suffered really badly during the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown. And that is one, the transport sector. Number two, there is the entertainment sector as well. That has not been allowed to legally, do work, anything, for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. However, good news is that the agriculture sector has been thriving, and last year the economy, this year it rose to 3.3% from last year's 1.1. Because after people lost their jobs in the physical year, that is what was recorded. After people lost their jobs, they resorted to agriculture.
Many people.
Yeah.
Many
yes,
people
yeah.
have resorted
That's
to
quite
agriculture,
true.
and that has been at least a plus. We are not ready for the opening of our economy, but however, it is necessary because our government has tried but failed to take care of us.
Well, let's see what other people are saying on social media. And Vicky comes in to say, most definitely, we have had ample time as a country to make informed decisions and equip ourselves about this pandemic. Emphasis should largely be on how we can safely coexist with the virus through exercising mass sensitization, vaccination, SOPs, and other measures. And then Essential Worker comes in to say, I think full reopening is worth at this time because Ugandans have learned a lesson, and it's about oneself to take care and avoid the spread of COVID-19. We have adopted a new normal, therefore people should need to go back to work in order to revive the economy. Tukoye curfew. Yes, indeed. And Yokana says one of the things we humans have over machines is learning. By this time, we should have learned how to live with the virus because it's not going away. It's here with us. Full reopening is the only solution. And lastly, Kalachi Brian, the rope to which the economy is suspending is only left with a thin string to be torn completely. Reopening is the only option. So I think people are leading more towards reopening, like what you said, Sarah.
Yes.
It does not seem logical, but it seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Necessary.
The necessary thing to do.
Right thing.
It's the necessary thing to do because our schools have been closed the longest all over the world. It's us, then Nepal, and then Bolivia. And a lot of children have not been able to actually access any type of, formal education during this whole lockdown. People are saying, online classes, but that is for people who can actually afford it.
Very true.
You understand? A few people can actually afford it. The bigger percentage of school-going children in our country cannot afford that. Even up all the way until university, could not have afforded to, continue online classes. And 30% is a big portion. So
big.
we have no choice but to just open, and in this case, just please just take the SOPs very seriously. People are not getting vaccinated. We are still under,
dilly-dallying on whether to get vaccinated.
A very small portion of our population is still under 30%, has not yet gotten vaccinated. 80% of teachers have not been vaccinated, and the schools are set to open next month.
Yeah,
what are we going?
That doesn't make sense, but I mean, let's look at what the Ministry of Health Uganda is saying about these infections. And as of 28th December, results of COVID-19 tests done on 28th December 2021 confirmed 1,809 new cases. The cumulative confirmed cases are 139,079. Hashtag stay safe UG. But if you look at this, it says tests conducted at that, but cumulative cases 130,000. We have 4 new deaths, as you can see, and total doses administered are 11,377 and 67. So clearly, infections are going up.
Yes.
So putting this into consideration, do you think then we should opt for a partial opening of the economy?
We're already partially open.
I think it goes back to the complacency of people. Even when you compare Uganda to other countries, you'll find that in most countries, people have been able to get vaccinated, which is very important. Like Sarah mentioned, 3.1% of our population in Uganda are the only people that have been vaccinated. That is such a low number. So even while we're looking at partial or complete lockdown, the question is, are people willing to get vaccinated? Are people willing to social distance? Do people want to stay in our homes? When the first lockdown happened, people were still moving recklessly. So it shows the extent to which I feel like Ugandans, we haven't reached that level of seriousness to the extent that up until now, there are people who still believe that these are conspiracy theories against fellow Ugandans, which is quite absurd. I feel like COVID is something that is real, and we should treat it with the urgency that it deserves. And the only way we can combat this, I remember yesterday we were actually doing Twitter jabs with you, Sarah, and she said, this is a team project. If I choose to wear a mask and you do not wear a mask, you're putting me even at risk when I am wearing a mask. So we all have to make the necessary, just be a team, work as a team, sanitize, wash your hands, social distance. Do not go for parties if you do not have to. If you have a slight fever or headache, go check out, like get vaccinated, you know, do all these things. You're not only protecting me, but you're protecting your next neighbor. You see, that is where we have it all wrong.
That's quite true, Shivan. But what I mean by a partial opening up the economy partially, yes, we have been partially open, but I'm like stretching it a little bit more, yeah? Businesses, for example, let's talk about bars, yeah? Those people, they have closed shop. I have a friend who had to close shop because that was her business. But I am saying following the SOPs, and getting them to operate because this is their livelihood as well. So looking into such areas so that people can open up. People can open up at least partially to an extent if we don't go full swing. What do you think of that?
I think somebody said in the responses to the question is we need to learn how to coexist with this virus.
Yeah.
It's here, it's not, we don't know if it will ever go away, but it is here to stay. Just like how we have learned to coexist with all the other diseases that have come from, you know, HIV to, I don't know, Ebola to cholera, all of them, we learned how to coexist with them. We learned how to, you know, protect ourselves from the disease and how to get treatment in case you get sick. And I do know that the medicines, you know, towards treating COVID-19 is going to evolve to a point that it's no longer a human threat. But us shutting down or even staying partially open is not helping the individuals. It's not even just about our economy, because our economy is affected, you know, largely, but the individuals, it's not helping us because our government has tried. They tried to give us food, but not everybody got food. They tried to give, you know, money, but it was too little to, you know, to sustain for even longer than a week. They have tried. They tried to, you know, keep us out, you know, inside so that we, you know, reduce the spread of the virus. And it worked for a little bit. But then the second wave came in and now here we are.
Talking about that, keeping us, if we're going to partially open, then don't you think curfew as well should be extended? Or fully open, no curfew. Fully open, but we observe the SOPs.
Exactly.
I think we should be fully open, but with curfew.
Why?
To some extent. I feel like
that's not fully open.
We are fully open. Every business
But
is going to
bars
go on
won't
as
be
usual.
fully opened because then they wouldn't be
Yes,
operating.
because they operate at night.
There are those night businesses
That
that
thrive
thrive. There are
at
those businesses
night.
that thrive at night. Like
Yeah.
the entertainment business, transport also thrives
Yes.
at night, because people have to, travel in the night.
It's a tough sport, honestly.
So
It's
the
a tough
curfew-
sport. I don't know how the president does this, but it's a very tough sport.
If the curfew go completely, and
It should go.
It should go. Because I don't understand.
Let-
Okay, in my perspective, I'm trying to make sense out of it. I've always tried to make sense out of it because here's the thing. Does the virus spread more at night? I'm just trying to understand it. Does the virus
People can't manage
spread
themselves
more
at
at
night?
night compared to during the day? Because even if we say that we are fully reopening the economy,
that
there
hit
are
different.
some businesses that thrive at night.
Yeah.
What happens, guys, can we just open the economy? Let me tell you something, by the way. There are people that are actually suffering. On Christmas Day, I visited a family downtown in Kisenyi, and I was almost brought to tears. The mom lost the job, the father lost the job. They have 6 children to take care of. 2 of them are little toddlers, and they barely had anything to eat. I will not shock you, do not be surprised, but do you know what they were feeding on when I found them? They go collecting banana peels of matoke. And they boil that. So when we are looking at these things, I feel like we look so much at Omuntu, like upper, instead of thinking about the person down below who is able to make a chikumi that will take them to the next day. So curfew or no curfew, curfew should be removed. The economy should open. I
Well,
don't know.
I think
It's
so.
it's such a tight spot, and if you have not gone through it, you might
won't
not be able to
understand.
understand
Yeah.
what people out there are going through.
Well, you heard that from the ladies this morning. We all have mixed feelings, but I think my take is I think the economy should fully reopen and curfew should go. We just have to live with this pandemic, like what Sarah said, and we have to just navigate it. Yeah.
We die, we die.
Don't try that at home. Don't try that at home. Well, that was all we had for the first segment of our views this morning. But do not go anywhere, because Shivan is coming on next with a very, very interesting conversation regarding the New Year's. Don't blink.